This lens in the UK cost £140. This is the Viltrox 40mm F2.5, not affiliated, not sponsored, not any of those disclaimers. Let's go take some photos with it. So this little mini bridge here, I've tried to take photos here quite a few times in the past and none of them have ever really come out how I've liked them, but on this morning there's quite a strong contrast of light hitting the end of the boardwalk, quite dark, so I can use that contrast there for a black and white shot. And someone comes and stands at the end of the boardwalk. I captured this frame, did hang around here for quite a long time, and no one ever walks up this boardwalk. I think that's why I've never taken a photo I'm 100% happy with here. Once they've moved on, I try and get a second sort of variation of that shot without a person in, and this time making sure that bridge really swings over the top of the reeds, and the reeds don't come past the bridge, the top of the bridge, so it feels all nice and spaced out. And then I'm using that nice shadow being cast on the floor just as a bit of detail leading us up and through the shot. This scene in front of me is really quite simple, but we've got a path up here on the hillside leading down to the beach, and then the lighthouse right over there in the distance. There's a few people hanging around on the beach down there at the bottom. Like I say, nice and simple. I cloned 1 or 2 people out of this to simplify it up, but I think it works. I'm shooting through this bench hut, kind of whatever you would call that. It is a bench with like a roof on it, and I'm using the 2 poles either side and the top and the bottom of it to create a nice frame into the distance of the ocean. And the first one, I capture these 2 people just almost coming off the frame, and I think that's really nice. Obviously the key here was trying to keep the spacing on the left hand side here and the top and the bottom the same, despite the dimensions of the actual structure not being perfectly even, and then that line in the middle where the concrete joins, keeping that central as well. So this next one coming up is by far my favorite. There's a woman and a kid down there on the beach just kind of kneeling down, having a bit of fun on the sand. So this time I come up the bank behind me a little bit more in order to include that beach, to give you some context of what they're up to, what they're doing. And in doing so, I do have to bring more of this bottom concrete into play, but I think it still works. It's still really nicely framed. And then last variant, very shortly after I took that one, a guy walks past, a single guy, and I try not to get him too crazy sharp in this. I just want him ever so slightly out of focus as he's walking past, so that most of the sharpness in this frame is on the beach and that solo dog there in the distance. If you're new to my channel and you're watching one of my videos for the first time, I don't talk about specific lenses or items of gear all that often, and I'm not going to be pulling up sharpness charts or zooming 500% into the background to show off the quality of the bokeh. What I do here on my channel for the most part is go out, take photos, talk about photography, philosophy, different approaches, tips, tricks, all of that good stuff to hopefully inspire or help other photographers. So if you're on a quest like me to find your favorite focal length, or perhaps 40mm has been on your watch list for a while, then my next string of videos may help you there, because this is going on my camera. It has been on my camera already. It's going on my camera and not coming off until, well, I decide I've got a fully flushed out opinion of the focal length. And I have YouTube to thank for this one, because to tell the same story for the 100th time, 50 used to be my favorite focal length. I started to have doubts about it, so I put it on my camera and shot nothing but 50 for 7 weeks. And throughout that period, I got lots of comments on the videos saying, try 40, 40 sounds like the focal length for you, etc, etc. And 40 has also become very popular, probably because of YouTube over the last few years. Lots of photographers swapping to 40, saying 40 is the new 50, etc, etc. So I was curious about it for a long time, and then of course the comments came in and I decided, yeah, let's give it a go. Okay, so onto the segment where I went for about an hour's walk with my fiance and dog, and I wasn't really expecting to capture any great images on this little walk, as it was mainly a dog walk, but I figured let me take the camera and lens with me, see if I can spot anything. And the first thing I did come across was this nice green hut. Quite difficult to frame up and get the distractions and stuff out. Wanted to include a bit of the path as well to give context to the scene. And then round the corner from there, this is something I've actually always always wanted to take a photo of. I've driven past this many times and never stopped, but because we were on foot this time, I figured, right, I'm going straight over there, I'm getting a photo of it. And luckily there was some sheep hanging around, so I get this one here with the 2 sheep. The left hand sheep is just going in to have a little scratch on the post there, and the right hand sheep does walk off. So then I capture a second one, bit of a closer crop, focusing more on that sheep that's having a nice little scratch. Good boy, stay there. Oh, who's a happy boy? Go get it then. Good boy. Look at me. Oh, what a lovely boy. Hello again. Right, I need your help, guys. I took a range of photographs here coming up, and I'm very fond of all of them, but I need your help to help me decide which is the best addition, shall we say, to the image. A range of different people, subjects, whatever, walked past. So help me in the comments down below. Pick your favorite. Let me know. I spotted this archway with some lovely light streaming through and giving us great portions of shadow too, and to be honest, it looks fantastic without a human element, but lots of different characters pass by, as we said. So we get person number 1, person on bike. Person number 2, blue top. Person number 3, beige top. And lastly, person number 4, dark clothes. Yeah, let me know in the comments which one you like the most. I'm just kind of creeping up on this bird here that's perched on the edge of this brickwork. And my aim here was to get a very nice minimal scene with the bird contrasting against the ocean. So I do get this one. I think it does the job. It's dead simple, but it works. And some nice shadow fall off where the light and shadow is hitting the brickwork as well. Walking along the promenade, I spot one of the little entryways down onto the beach, and the way that the lighthouse can be positioned almost in that stairway down onto the beach, and the shadows falling off the railings onto the brickwork I really like as well. And there's 2 people walking along the beach, so we capture them in that entryway as well, which kind of doubles down on that nice spacing. Very quickly after that, a guy walks past and he has a little interaction with my dog who's with me on this walk, and then I capture him again in that entryway. I couldn't help myself walking back in the direction that I came from, going back up to this little structure again and trying something else, and I go for a different angle this time and include the roof and situate someone in between those 2 poles. And back to the starting point where this little bridge is. Again, I'm waiting around here hoping and praying that someone comes along the boardwalk, but they don't. However, people are passing over the bridge, so I decide, you know what, I'm going to push back. I'm going to try and get a bit of a wireframe with people crossing over that bridge, which is quite difficult because obviously the bridge is quite high up, the boardwalk's quite low. But these 2 people pass here, and then we've got all these reeds on the other side to balance it out. Again, they're moving from left to right, and yeah, I really like this shot actually. And then walking off down the boardwalk a bit, just get a nice minimal frame here. Nothing too fancy, nothing much to comment on, just a central frame, nice leading line down into the coast. And then I go up above and stand on the bridge and get a look down of that boardwalk. Luckily with a few people on the beach that really add to the shot. So as I said at the start of this video, I'm not talking about sharpness, not talking about build quality, bokeh quality, any of that business. But the very first thought I had after using this lens for the first time was, Why does every camera brand or company or manufacturer in the world not have a range of budget lenses like this one that's as good as this one? And I assume the 50, the 35, etc. from Viltrox are all as good as this one. Well, I know why. It's profit and it's market segmentation and it's wanting to perceive yourself as a high-end quality brand only. But how nice would it be if Sony and Canon and all the other big players had a range of super budget friendly lenses that were as good as this one? Especially for people that are maybe just getting their first mirrorless camera and wanting to grab a couple of lenses that isn't going to set them back another couple of £1,000 when they've just spent probably £1,000 or so on a camera. And even for people like myself that might want to pick up a lens and try the focal length and try how it feels for a year or two to get a really fantastic opinion before they do end up spending thousands and thousands on one of them more premium options, it would just be so nice. And I know brands like Sony do have a few budget options, but they don't really have like a full line of budget lenses. But hey, I'm just a guy in the world speaking, taking photos and making videos. Come join me on my channel for future videos. That'd be nice. And I hope you enjoyed this one, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.